Good day, everyone. My name is Pearl Irasinko, taking a course of Bachelor of Secondary Education major in Mathematics. So, for my part, I am going to discuss the factors leading to greater integration of the Asian regions and how they respond economically and politically. So, first, the Asian regions consist of the Central Asia, East Asia, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and West Asia. So, to further understand our topic, let us know first what is integration. So, integration is the act of bringing together small components into a single system that function as one. So, in short, greater integration with other Asian economies would lead to substantial investments and flows this year, as well as rapid tourism growth and robust exports that would benefit not only big businesses but micro and small enterprises as well. Okay, so these are the factors that will lead to greater integration of the Asian region. So, first we have trade. So, trade is the buying and selling of goods, services from other countries. So, the world economy is intertwined with each other, whether we like it or not. So, we all want or need something from other part of the world, and global trade facilitates that. So, this is the exporting and importing of goods and services. No, so there are needs of our country that we have to look or get from the other countries. So of course, um, just like now, there are things that we have to look for other countries because we don't have that kind of thing or needs. Just like the what they call the gas kanang bitong kanang i kuan gasolina. So we are getting gasoline from the Russia. Okay, so one of the factor nga nagpa-integrate or nag-create a greater relationship from different countries is the trade. So it is one of the most important factors, no. And next is the mutual benefits. So when it comes to trade, these nations can readily supply each other's needs. So of course, both countries can benefit from each other because the country in which we get our needs in exchange of money, they will be developed economically and kitapod, we can sustain our needs or the needs of our country. So next is the similar culture. So it makes easier fit during times of negotiations. So there are practices from other countries in which it is very difficult for us to connect and talk with them. So having similar cultures, it is an advantage, no, because we can easily transact with them, and the cultures of Asia are diverse, but of course, they do share many things. So, the people of this region are generally alike in appearance, temperament, which is seemingly peaceful. So, they tend to get along quite well, even on an individual level. So, for example, of similar culture with other countries is the shaking of hands. So, it shows respect and imposes formality among countries, especially during the negotiations. As we can see in the news, in the TV, the businessman and the presidents or the leaders in each country are shaking their hands. Okay, next is we have the common goal. So Asian regions recognizes benefit of a slow integration. So of course, most of the countries has common goals, and that is, of course, to develop their country economically, including their industry and politically. So the territories involved are not far from each other, and the industriousness of its population can work as a powerful negotiating bloc against from other parts of the world. So next is this similar security needs. So Aside from small localized rebels, this association needs only to contend with foreign-supported terrorist groups which are usually handled well. So to secure the country and other local areas in our country, they need the military forces. No, so because other countries have strong military forces or armies, so it is a good opportunity to associate with them for us to have um, uh, further security. So next is the agreements. So it refers to treaty that is signed by two or more countries to encourage free movement of goods and services across the border of its members. So there are agreements that trade agreements. There are agreements that comes with internal rules that members countries must follow among themselves. So providing a rule or agreement to have a successful and peaceful trade. So each country members know has to follow the rules and avoid actions that may cause conflict among our neighboring countries because it is very hard to trade among countries in kung wala tay gahawiran nga agreement no kay in terms of conflict how can we unsaon man nato pag-produce og evidences nga nag-trade ta with them. So it is agreement is very important for us to have a peaceful negotiation among our country among different countries. Okay, so those are one of the factors that would lead us to greater integration of the Asian regions. So again, first, we have the trade, the mutual benefits, similar cultures, the common goals, the similar security needs, and the trade agreements. So let us go to how countries respond economically and politically to globalization. So some are large enough and have lots of resources to dictate how they participate in the process of global integration. So the countries that are large and have lots of resources. So for example, to this is the China. So we all know that China is a large country, right? Or large area. So China offers cheap and huge workforce to attract foreign businesses and expand trade with countries once they considered as their enemies. So they are referring to the United States and Japan. But now it sees as markets for its goods. So before that, the countries in which they considered as enemies, um, it became their markets no so partners na sa business. And next is other countries are taking its small sizes as an advantage like Singapore and Switzerland. So as we can see in the screen, no, the location, I mean the area of the Switzerland, it is very small lang no, and the Singapore very small. But then they are so innovative and they are able to find ways how to expand their economy. For lack of resources, they make use of their strategic location as financial and banking hubs. So Singapore develops its harbor facilities and made them the first class transit port for ships carrying different commodities. So despite sa ilang small area, they are able to manage Japan, like especially the Singapore. They are known for their first classic transit port for ships carrying different commodities in other countries. So small areas is not a hindrance for their successful successful economy and of course the success of their country. Okay, that so one thing or one of the reasons why countries formed associations or organizations is to strengthen their military defense, political defense, and region blocks. We have known lots of international organizations like the NATO, the Soviet Union, and other international organizations. So countries to form regional associations or organizations through the following considerations. So again, they are formed because they want to have military defense, political defense, and region blocks. So first is the military defense. So it is mostly wide known defense. The mostly wide known defense grouping is the NATO, or known as the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. So it was formed during the Cold War with several Western European countries plus the United States agreed to protect against the threat of Soviet Union. So the NATO, no, there are lots of members of the NATO organization. There are many countries involved in NATO organization, and one of this is the United States. And they formed this organization to protect against the threat of the Soviet Union. So um, the Warsaw The Warsaw Pact, or known as Warsaw Treaty Organization, it is a defense treaty signed in Warsaw, Poland, between Soviet Union and seven other Eastern Bloc socialist republics of Central and Eastern Europe in May 1955 during the Cold War. So what is this they called Cold War? So it was a period of tension between the United States and Soviet Union and other respective allies, the Western Blocs and Eastern Blocs, which began following World War II. So because of the Cold War, no, um, the s- the NATO was being formed, and then for today, we all know that the war between the Ukraine and the Russia, there are rumors that the Russia declares war against the Ukraine is because the Ukraine wants to form an allegiance in the NATO organization. So the Russian did not agree on that. It's because Ukraine is very close to their country. They are neighboring countries, and they don't want Ukraine to be part of the NATO organizations because the Russia is part of the Soviet Union. And as we all know that um, the NATO was formed because it is to protect against the threat of the Soviet Union. Okay, so the next part will be discussed by Miss Anata Del Torre. Thank you so much.